Now we'll continue to work on the first segment. We've got the right arm finished up for the most part. Now we need to start working on that left arm. So let's select the left wrist control, the left arm IK, the elbow control, and even the left scapula control. And since we have the right arm planting on frame 11, we'll have that left arm plant about one frame after. And even a small offset like that can really add. So we'll take the key on frame 17 and let's move it up to frame 12. And with that adjustment made, we'll back up our camera and just hit play to see our adjustments now. And we can see that just from doing that small tweak, it's really improved this part of the animation where this left arm's coming down. So now we've got the arms coming down and then the body afterwards. Alright, great. And now we can start tweaking out this left arm a little bit more. So what we can do is go to frame 10 and start tweaking this left arm IK control a little bit more so we get a smoother fall for when the arm does plant. So on frame 10 we'll just translate the arm a little bit in the X, more to the character's right, and we can also bring it up a little bit more in the Z. Okay, so now the movement's looking pretty good. Remember to also check the animation in more than one view just to make sure everything's fine. Okay, but that's pretty good. So now we can go to our wrist and start adjusting it. So for the wrist, let's also go to frame 10 and we'll rotate the wrist up some. Like that. Point it towards where it's about to land. Then we'll need to make an adjustment on frame 11. So we'll also go ahead and rotate the wrist as what we did before. And now when it lands, we get a nice arm plant there. And remember, we do want to check our animation in more than one view to make sure it's looking like we want it to look. Okay, I'd like to make a slight adjustment on frame 11. I'd like to rotate this wrist up just a little bit more so we could get a better grab. So the wrist is rotated up and then down for the grab on frame 12. Alright, I like that better. So with that adjustment made, what we now need to do is work on having this left arm locked on impact. Because right now, remember, it is more of a, right now it's anticipating the fall, anticipating the land. So what we'll do to adjust that is go to our center of gravity control and fix it from there. And we'll also get our graph editor involved. So we'll go there and let's go to our translate Y so we can focus on the key we're about to set, because all we'll need to do is go ahead and translate the center of gravity upward. So let's do that. Okay, so that arm is now locked. But notice now, since we have our flat tangency set, we get this break in our F curve. It's not smooth like it once was. So we'll go ahead and adjust that, because right now if we just hit play, we get that small delay in our animation and then the character comes down. When when in actuality we wouldn't get that type of delay. So what we'll do to adjust it is select the right half of the tangent handle, hold the middle mouse button and click and drag down some. So we get again a nice smooth blend in our F curve as what we had before. And also to notice on frame 12, the right arm is kind of coming off the bar when it actually should be planted. So to adjust that, let's go to our right scapula control and we'll go into the rotate mode and just rotate the rotate Y constrain ring until the right arm is planted again on the bar, like that, almost to the point where if we rotate it anymore the arm will be bent. So we still want it locked. Okay, there it is. That's much better. And with these adjustments made, let's do a play blast to view our results. So we'll find a view to play blast from and start one off. Here it is. So now our arms are looking much better. They come down first and then the body afterwards. What we can work on doing now is adding some follow through in the character's head movements, because we're missing that. Definitely need to add it. So what would happen is, as the character is moving down, the head would rotate upward or backward, and then on impact, depending how intense the impact would be, we'd rotate the head forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and close out the play blast, bring back our control curves, and what we also want to keep in mind is how fast the character is coming down, because that's also going to be a factor when we do tweak the head for the first follow through here. So let's get a feel of where we need to add this follow through for the head. Keep scrubbing back and forth. And let's go to frame 14, and on frame 14 we'll go to the rotate X in our channel box to make sure we're only rotating in the X. At times we want to make sure we're only rotating in just one channel so we can have a cleaner F curve. Okay, a more organized F curve, which is easier to manipulate rather than a cluttered F curve. So we'll go to the rotate X and let's just rotate the head up some, like that. And we'll also translate it back in the Z so the head's not detaching from the neck. And we'll scrub through to see our movement. Okay, so notice it's looking pretty good. As the character's moving down, the head's moving back for the follow through. Now we need to have some follow through for when the head does, for when the body does finally land, when the arms do grab the bar. And we also want to keep in mind again the impact at which it happens, so we know how much to move the head and where to move it. And let's go to frame 18, and on frame 18 we'll rotate the head down slightly and translate it down slightly as well, so the next following. And with this adjustment made, let's do a play blast now, because we don't always want to rely on the playback in our workspace. Here it is. So the follow through is looking pretty good, but I think the head is rising too fast. Okay, after it is dropped on the impact of the character grabbing hold of the bar. So I think that needs to be adjusted. Let's go ahead and work on that. We'll close out our F check, bring back our control curves, select the head control, and what needs to be adjusted is this key on frame 23, and it just needs to be delayed some so the head's not moving up as fast as it is. So we'll take that key on 23 and let's move it back a few frames, about to frame 27. Let's see how that looks now. So again, we'll just hide our NURBS curves, find a nice view to play blast from, and start another one off. Here it is. Notice now the follow through in the head movements is much better, just from adding that simple fix of delaying the key on frame 23 a few frames back. Okay, so our movement's looking pretty good. And the last thing we'll do in this lesson is add a moving hold where the character is down more in this position for a little bit longer before he goes up for his first pull, because he's going to really want to tug at the bar to lift that weight. So we're going to have him do a moving hold, and then afterwards he'll really move up quickly to pull up on the bar and try to lift the weight. So we'll close up our play blast, bring back our control curves, and for our moving hold, what we'll do is select pretty much most of our upper body controls, excluding the arms, because they should still be locked on the bar. So we'll just go ahead and marquee select all of our controls here, and we'll also deselect the hips because we're not going to worry about them just yet. So with all of these controls selected, for our moving hold, we will be using the middle mouse button technique as was explained before, which is great for moving holds. So what we'll do is we'll go to frame 28, and let's middle mouse button click on frame 43, just several frames before the character does pull up on the bar. and we'll press Shift W and Shift E to key the translate and rotate channels. And here's what we get now when we hit play. Notice we get a nice moving hold, and then the character pulls up on the weight. But we do have this one right arm was I didn't get to or didn't select it, didn't have it in my selection, so I'll just make an adjustment really fast on that, on the right shoulder there. So just go to frame 28 and middle mouse button click on frame 43 and press Shift E to key the rotate channels. So hotkey, and now it's adjusted. So we hit play and we get this nice moving hold, and then bam, the character pulls up. And let's go ahead and do a play blast of this so we can see more accurately how our movement's looking. So we'll find a view to play blast from. Think about here's fine. Here's our results. So notice now the character is planted for a little bit longer in that down position before he starts to pull up on the weight. Okay, but what needs to happen now is we need to have some tension in between the character and the weight as he's pulling it up. And we also need to do a few more adjustments to that first section to call it done. So since we've only got a few more adjustments to do to finish up this first section and start working on the next where the character is showing some tension between the weight, we'll go ahead and work on that and finish it up in the next lesson.